Well, I'll get started then. Good to see Engelstein, Utaku. See to start off. Give it another minute before I do my introduction and bring on the guest, but we'll see if more people come join. Oh, there's Unstable. See Emily? You can't see what's happening behind this. The axolotl's fine. Okay, let's get started here on this nice Friday. So, my name is Cale. I'm on site. You probably know me as kftiger, as you can see on the stream there. And you've maybe accidentally turned into the Friday Creative Community stream on Civitai. If you're meant to be here, awesome. And if you didn't, probably stick around. It might be worth it. This is actually my second stream hosting as Civitai's social media manager, meaning now I'm fully experienced and everything's going to be entirely flawless this time around. Though I don't think last time was too bad either. If you've just tuned in and you don't actually know what Civitai is, maybe you've randomly clicked on the stream or found a cool recording. We're a large platform for the creation and sharing of AI-generated art and tools to make that art. We've got millions of users online with almost 100,000 users in our community Discord, which you can see at discord.gg/Civitai. So if you're watching on Twitch or any of our social media sync streams, including X and LinkedIn, come check out civitai.com and the Discord. Currently, we're streaming twice a week, with our community engagement manager, Ali, streaming office hour updates every Wednesday, and myself doing these creative community streams on Fridays. If you're on Twitch, you can see the times for these booked on the calendar. If you don't already know me on site, this is my profile on Civitai. Made a lot of wild, wacky, weird, and wonderful models, a number of videos featured in Project Odyssey Season 2, and I guess that's maybe why they hired me. But, enough about me. This time around, I've been smart enough to actually drag in my first guest. You may know him for his axolotl images and videos showing up on your feeds, or maybe his models that help correct gun handling for him, or for winning one of the prizes in Project Odyssey Season 2. I know him as my good buddy, Schmede. So let's bring him on camera here.
Oh, hello, everybody.
We just changed the screens around, so we got the...
Oh, no, there I am.
That's more like it. All right. So Schmede's been very engaged in this creative AI field, having gone from making models for generating images of axolotls to creating ChatGPT bots to optimize prompting, creating videos with all the latest tools, and is overall just a cool dude making cool stuff. Make sure to follow him. I already am, but you should if you haven't already. So, Schmede, let's chat. What are we here to chat about today? Maybe I should have said that, right?
Yeah.
It's up to you.
I don't know, because I just got here. The funny thing is, this is the first time, actually, we're actually speaking, well, kind of like face-to-face, because we've been working together on a bunch of stuff, but we've never actually spoken to each other. We're talking about...
Weird.
Yeah, go ahead. We're talking about Project Odyssey Season 2, and I can kind of just start off with how we even got into it. My first interaction with kftiger was when I was using I was exploring different models, and I found one where I was like, oh, that looks cool. And there was just no instructions on it at all, and there was no prompting or anything on the showcase images. And I even dragged some of the images into Comfy UI to see if I could find a prompt in there or something. There was nothing, and I just couldn't replicate the showcase images. And then I think it was your aquarium model that you had uploaded, and it's just hey, just literally copy this and insert what you want. I was like, oh my god, perfect. And I was like, I better say something positive so more people do this, so I can actually use models that I find at the site. And that was my first interaction with it.
Oh yeah, it's the easy mode prompt.
Yeah, it's
something I always try
key.
to.
It's key. And I don't do it. I just go like, hey, these are the trigger words. Just like use these and it should be fine. Look at the showcase images, you know. He's working hard for you. I'm not.
Hard, yeah.
And I think, I don't remember what it was, but I remember you reached out to me and you asked me if, well, what it was actually, we can pull up the Miro board.
The board, yeah.
Yeah. What started this whole thing was I made a.
I'll give you control here.
Yeah. If you want to like, yeah, if you want to click my face, there we go.
There we go.
I made a model that for Flux that makes a Glock 17, and so I made this image of an axolotl, and right next to it, KFT made one with his cat, and I think that's where he got the idea. It wasn't my idea. And then Project Odyssey Season 2 rolled around, and he reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to work together to make a video, and I was like, I don't know, like I'm not sure if I want to. Because I've never done competitions before, and I'm just like, I don't really know who this dude is, and I don't want to turn something that is fun for me into something that might not be so fun anymore. Like in terms of, like it starts becoming work, or maybe if one person does more work and we're not like feeling like we're both doing what we should be doing, and then it turns into something not fun. And I was like, okay, maybe, and kind of drafted up a plan. With the deadline in mind, and I was like, well, if we have this done by then like I think I'll commit to moving forward with it. And we ended up making a submission for the trailer category, and we finished it really early. I think it was like 2 weeks in.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had like the first deadline we had was I think that Saturday or something, and we're talking at first on Tuesday or Wednesday, saying like if we have a draft plan, then we can move ahead. But by that Saturday, we had already started working on.
We had the full draft, and then we had like videos, it's like a bunch of videos. So I think what would probably we'll do this. Like I saw
the video.
This is one of like what this one like was one of the ones that and we ended up making, and I was just like, that's really funny, Yeah. It didn't make it in there because it doesn't work at all, but it was just fun the whole time. So I was like, yeah, and we had some that we could actually use. So we just went ahead with it, and we finished pretty early. And
so what was the process? Like, how did we, I can talk to it, but how do we start with generating the images?
Well, you came up with the base idea, and then I was just like, well, I use ChatGPT all the time to write dumb movie scripts. So I told it like what was going on, and then it came up with some stuff, and I was like, yeah, this is workable. We can do this. And I was like, this is perfect because I have a model that can do Glocks, and cops use those, and I have one for a shotgun that works too. You have a model for your cat already, and then we'll just use our own models. And this entire thing was we just used our own models for it, which made it a lot more fun as well. Like every aspect of the images, like is just like some combination of models that we had trained ourselves. And then it all like we just had so much material that we just started stringing together, seeing if what works and what doesn't. And I think does it make sense to play like the actual?
I was going to say, I think like we've kind of introduced the video itself. I'm going to have to off screen for a sec and load it back up as another tab so that people have audio. Which big face is here, but whatever. Then it should be able to share it just as a tab. Go back to picture in picture. But so, this was the end result of the first movie we made together, Fur Fins and Felons. I'll drop the link to the video in chat as well. We're going to play it and hope it goes okay. But this was the end result and what we ended up submitting for our first video together.
I have been police chief in this city for 15 years, and I have never seen crime this bad. Cheese-related offenses are...
All right, somebody saying black screen.
I can see it on Restream, and I see it on the Twitch as well.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else?
I think we're good.
You can hear it. Never mind.
Yep.
Okay. We are playing again.
At an all-time high, and we're running in circles while these mice stay one step ahead. Even behind bars, they're still coordinating. They're getting smarter, more dangerous, pulling off heists with tools and tactics we've never seen. Allie, I'm putting you on this case. But because of your history with mice, I'm assigning you a new partner. Meet Cale.
Huh? Really? Have you don't tell me where the cheese is right now, I will...
La 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 la. Beautiful day out for writing tickets.
Let me handle the mice. You just deal with the paperwork.
White.
And what do you credit to your success with this huge catnip siege?
Just good, honest police work. And having a cat's intuition. Good, honest police work. Yeah, that's it. Evidence won't catch these mice, Sal. You gotta think like them. You gotta feel like them.
This is a code 407C, unauthorized cheese removal. Now hands where I can see them.
Good luck, you two. You'll need it.
All in the pursuit of justice.
Allie, seriously? That pun was terrible.
Yeah, so that was the first video we made.
Narrator sounds awfully familiar.
Really?
to me.
I guess it's the first time you've talked to me on camera. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad choice for lip sync. Yeah, we didn't actually. I mean, we'll go through the questions, but we didn't actually use any.
We didn't even use lip
We
sync.
pretty much just modified the words to match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, what we did was we just kind of we're like, well, this video clip works, so then like the whole thing would change around it, and it was just kind of mashing it together because we didn't really have. It was really chaotic, but
Yeah. Like if you zoom out on this, I mean, you can see a lot of the different.
yeah.
ones.
So a lot of this stuff didn't make it in, but I just some of
It's
the.
not
Oh, you
sure.
have to click on my face.
Yeah, my bad.
There we
There
go.
you go.
Now that's what I
Now
see.
you can see.
So we kind of
This
just
is
we
just
have
a small amount of.
yeah. Oh, this is like a very small amount. We had a general plan, and the end product was like nothing like it at all. Because I mean, we would look at how the mouse moving, and we're like, well, if we change the line to this instead, then it can kind of sync up. So we literally didn't do any lip syncing because I don't even know why we didn't even try it. Well, I think it's because we didn't have access to it. That was why.
Yeah, we were looking through the tools at the time. Like we used Minimax Halo for the first videos we did.
Oh,
Like,
by the way,
it seemed the most accessible, and it was also the best whenever we wanted to do something with some more action, like anything shooting or with a gun. We found Kling really got limited, or just have somebody standing with a gun but would do anything.
Well, what we realized, and the funny thing is, and this is why I have a soft spot for Minimax, is that we're just putting the images in with zero prompts, and then it was just doing like crazy stuff, and we're like, yeah, that totally works. Like we'll just put it here. Like there's like no planning at all.
And that was a big part of how easy it was. I mean, at first, in that first week, we were just making all sorts of different photos and putting them in and saying, hey, animate this with no prompts, see what happens. And then thinking, okay, let's use these ones. Let's clip this in. It was, like you said, quite chaotic.
I think I remember you just being like, yeah, I didn't even use a prompt for that one. I was like, wait, that's great. I'm just going to stop typing in prompts. I'm just going to put images in. We'll just like see what we can get. And I think like most, if not all of the footage from that one has zero prompt for it.
Yeah.
I mean, we got some, like, if you want to click on this, we got some like crazy stuff that didn't work, but I thought was still funny. So I included it here. Just like him, just watch him shoot. Like,
there's a lot of B-roll cuts that didn't make it.
Yeah. But I mean, it was all, I like the videos anyways, it just didn't really work for this. Here's like just a bunch of the different images that I used models for, and you can see some of the stuff. I think this makes it in my video, but it didn't make it in this one. One of the things I was really worried about when we were first talking about this was I was worried that we couldn't get the dialogue to sound good. I think it sounded a lot better than what I imagined was possible. So to me, it worked out. But what I had done was, because I was skeptical of our ability to do that, and then I was worried about lip syncing, because I didn't even know that there was stuff out there that would lip sync for you until I saw some other submission where it was blooper reels. Actually, So I actually have a whole collection full of bloopers. Like it's all there, you know. So all the crazy stuff that didn't work out is in a collection on my page, and we were actually kind of like using that to like, you know, promote it and everything, because some of the videos were still like funny, so they're all available.
We had a whole promotional ad campaign around it. But the video didn't end up winning a prize.
Yeah, but it won a lot of hearts, I think.
Yeah.
So,
and we had fun. Well, I mean, this was definitely the most complicated and took the most time, but it was also because, I mean, I hadn't touched video editing in probably a few years, and you know, we were trying to figure it out step by step. Like, hey, can we make them do this picture? Can we have a scene where they do this? Blooper reel. I mean, I'll link that.
Yeah. So
you got a collection, right?
It's under my collections, and I think it's literally just called the bloopers.
Okay, I'll drop that chat. Well, yeah. Okay, it's the blooper collection.
Yeah. So one of the things that made me agree as well was I like didn't really know how to video edit either, and then KFT was like, "Yeah, I literally have done it for work," and I'm like, "Oh, perfect. That's the thing I can't do at all." Up to this point, I mean, I had technically edited videos, and you can like see them on my page. Like all I did was just put one clip after another over music, and then put subtitles over it. And the first few times I did it, I was literally making like the text boxes, and then I was like typing the stuff in. So like if I panned it, like the text would move. Like I didn't know what I was doing. So the most advanced I got was realizing that there was functionality that is specifically made for subtitles, and that's like as far as I ever got in video editing. But one of the things that I'll kind of go through, like I handled I made a lot of the images because I knew I wasn't going to be able to be that helpful during the video editing phase. And one of the things that I've kind of shown here is just like the different images that we ended up making using our models. I particularly like this one.
Yeah, and that one ended up being, well, we used that in the video because the video itself, the clip that came out of that was also really good.
Yeah.
But the imagery, of the generations, like I always really enjoyed the like the dynamic contrast differences between the cheese and, you know, the darkness around it.
Yeah, because I was like, we'll just make the antagonist mice with cheese, because that's always a hit. You know, that's always a topic that gets like mice just constantly thinking about cheese is like people love that, you know, and I love it. So this one I like too. I have a model that does the night vision goggles, so it's like them breaking into a bank with it, and then during the editing phase, I was like, oh, dude, we really need to get that like Sam Fisher night vision goggle sound effect in there. And then let's put like a green filter over there. And then I was just like really excited when, you know, he edited it together. I was like, oh, dude, this is so awesome. When I found out that real night vision goggles don't make that sound, it was like finding out Santa wasn't real. Like it doesn't, by the way. So
I still don't believe that.
Yeah, I ruined it for the bunch.
I'm pretty sure anybody who actually puts on night vision goggles, if they don't make that sound, they make it in their own head. Or
they should make some that play that sound, just because like, I don't know. It just when I found out that wasn't true, I was extremely disappointed.
I mean, it makes sense why it doesn't.
Yeah,
absolutely give it away, but
at
the same time, it doesn't feel like it would be official that way.
Yeah, for sure. Here's something that was in the original script that I had ChatGPT write up for us. Was there's going to be something where it's like, oh, don't let go, like, you know, dramatic scene where he was like, you know, the axolotl was about to like fall, and then like, you know, it's hanging on for dear life. And this was like the best I could get in terms of this perspective. And like, there's like a lot of like this one. I mean, we didn't want him to like actually fall. And then, you know, there's like stuff like this, but it was really, and I rolled this, like tried a bunch of different stuff, like some concepts, or maybe I just don't know how to prompt for it. But this one was really.
We both tried for quite a while. Like we wanted to make it so it looked like the axolotl had just let go of, or Ali had just let go of the axolotl's hand, Sal's hand, and trying to prompt both of that and the perspective of falling. Like there might be new Lauras now that help out with that, but at the time, like we struggled for a good while trying to figure that out.
This one was the best I could get. Like, this was the actual.
Like, and even then, it's just kind of two stubs handing it.
Yeah, and I couldn't get it to do pause at all. But
yeah,
I also did for the images that we really couldn't get it there just from the prompt. I would in-paint them with the way I do it, because I don't know how to use Photoshop. So I'm literally just kind of doing a hatchet job with Microsoft Paint first, and then in painting to smooth it over. And this is like the best that we got out of that one. And the animation, I should have included it here, but it's in the bloopers, and he's just floating, and it didn't like really work out. The mice chalk. We could play it if you want. It's right. I see it right there. This one. KFT photoshopped the pause in there too, and it's just like
it's just waving goodbye.
It just didn't really work out, but it's still funny. Yeah, still a huge fan. The chalk outlines. Yeah, if you want to go back to the mural board, since I'm talking about it, because it's definitely something I want to talk about.
So go the tab, just reloading it.
Yep, and if you want to click my face, there we go.
Control.
Flux does not understand how to not draw the entire mouse at all. So I'll say that unless somebody's made a specific lore for this in this time, there's a pretty good lore out there, because I can think of all kinds of funny things you can do with this. But we tried for so long, and we would just get stuff like this, the entire mouse just drawn there. And I was like, no, there's no mouse inside. Like, I got this one.
Tried.
This one's kind of weird. But it just didn't get it. So I took this one, which was the best one, and then I just in-painted it until it was, clearly recognizable as a there's a name for it as well. Because I was using GPT to be like, can we try different stuff? Can you come up with a prompt for it? What is it even called? And then I don't remember now, but it's like
I'm blanking. It's
super intuitive. It's literally like chalk out, police. I don't know. Crime scene chalk.
Police chalk outline. Yeah.
So, there's a name for it.
Somebody in chat will know, and if they don't, they'll know in 10
this,
seconds when they search it.
This image is hilarious, regardless. But it was It was worth putting it in there. It was KFT's idea, and then when we put it in, I was like, yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah. Once we got the crime scene tape flapping and everything, yeah, it looked good.
Yeah. Some of the things, and I don't show it too much here, but because we just kind of rolled it until we got what we needed. When we were combining the two lores, sometimes it would make the axolotl look really furry, and then it would have trouble putting them both in police uniforms. But it worked well enough that we eventually got what we needed. I didn't need to do anything crazy. The one thing I couldn't get it to do, and this was the first version of my Flux axolotl. I'm pretty sure my second one is going to be able to do it better. But I was working with the first one that was not as good, and I just could not get it to do two mice here, so I had to in-paint that in. And a crime scene body outline or a body silhouette. There it is, the official name. And if you want to click on this one, this one, I got this video out of it because it saw the bag of cheese and it was just this was
somehow made up its own.
Yeah, it was
which was a clip you used in another video, right?
Yep. So I'll kind of lead into that a little bit. During the editing phase, I couldn't really do anything. I don't know if it's possible to have two people.
I think in professional studios, not that I know, but I think they've got different workflows.
So now I know. I didn't know if it's possible to have two people, one of them remote editing. Not that I would have been any help, because I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm also noting that this guy has a Southern Belle GPT bot, and I'm I didn't know that was an option. But there wasn't much I could do, because I just KFT was how does this look? What do you think about this idea? And I was just oh yeah, that's awesome. And why don't we try this? Can we add some car alarms after the explosion? And to me, I was oh, that sounds awesome. That's so great. And I ceded basically the overriding creative control to him, because he knows how to edit. And I'm I don't know what works, what doesn't. But the entire time I was sitting there, there's an entire wiki over that. That's crazy. The entire time you were editing, I was just man, that sounds fun. I want to have fun. I'm just sitting there
I was having all the fun and you were just sitting there watching.
I'm sure it wasn't pure fun. I mean, it was probably fun in terms of just an average of all video editing that exists. But you were putting in a lot of time for sure. But it still sounded fun to me. And I was just I want to do that. I want to do it. It's just I'm just sitting here doing nothing. And we got it all together. And I was thrilled with how it came out, because I never worked on something like this before. If you look on my profile, I think I have a video. The most complicated thing I ever did was just stringing together a bunch of cog video axolotl animations I had made over a Japanese anime intro kind of music video I made, and it kind of like lined up, and it wasn't that complicated. And
And
we
you
finished
talked to Tyler about that stuff before, right?
Yeah.
He really liked the COG video stuff.
That's
It's
awesome.
not 1920 anymore. Yeah, now it's
Yeah, we don't need to be drawing chalk outlines over people anymore, or mice. But people still instantly recognize like what that's like implies, like the meaning behind it. And I see a lot of potential for just like funny image ideas, and like I would play with that all day if there was a lore for that out there.
So if anybody's listening,
yeah, please
and
do
if
that.
you can do it before we do it, because we might if we feel like it afterwards. But you've got a head start. We've got still another half an hour plus.
I have one training image. That's it. And it's not like the best either. Yeah. So we had a bunch of leftover stuff that didn't make it in. And also I had actually already made like a rap song off of Suno. Big fan of Suno, by the way. I was making stuff with that like all the time. So I already had that all lined up, because in my head, I was just like, if, you know, the dialogue doesn't work out, but it worked out, in my opinion, like great. We have this ready to go, because I basically fed it the best images that I had at the time and the things I knew I could make. And then I had it like generate lyrics around that. And that kind of describes a lot of how these two things came together, was that we just threw everything at the wall, and then we took what looked and worked the best. And then we kind of crafted it so it could all fit in there. Well, so that a lot of it could fit in there. So a lot of stuff still didn't make it in here. And I didn't only use the leftovers for this. Like the animation for this one was made after the first video, so I had to still fill it out. But I had enough to kind of throw together over the music, and like I still need to fill a bunch of stuff out. So then I would just generate more stuff. So I think we had finished really early into like the whole process too. So I was like, dude, like I have time to try this. Why not? And I'll say this before we get into it, is that I reached out to. I asked KFT. I was like, listen. I've never video edited before. Like, you think maybe if I do this, like you can kind of give me some pointers or something like that? And he's like, yeah, definitely. But I'm not going to sit there and show you how to use like all these, like the program. And I'm like, yeah, it's totally reasonable. I just meant like, you know, just kind of, if you can take a look, and that's it. Like exactly what I needed was like a discerning eye, somebody who had done this kind of thing before. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And then I gave it a shot, and we can play that now so people have seen it. So this is the music video that came from this one.
And this won Project Odyssey Season 2, second place Civitai Title Sponsor Award. I think you can see that here. So I'll play that now.
Axolotl plays it straight, keeps the badge clean. Tabby's off the rails, a justice machine. Cheese on the streets, crime running muck. Two cops on the edge, taking fate by the luck. By the books, how it starts, axolotl on the beat. Paperwork stacked, gotta keep it neat. Protocols is armor, justice is creed. But the streets don't care, they're fueled by greed. Then there's the tabby claws out, no chill. Tearing up the city, running on will. Nip in her veins, chaos in her stride. Breaking every rule just to turn the tide. Axolotl plays it straight, keeps the badge clean. Tabby's off the rails, a justice machine. Cheese on the streets, crime running muck. Two cops on the edge, taking fate by the luck. Cheese banks getting hit, mice rolling deep. Shotguns raised, they put the city to sleep. Axolotl says plan, gotta do this right. Tabby's like, nah, we hit hard, we fight. Rooftop chases, the stakes go higher. Tabby's leaping through explosions and fire. Axolotl sweating, holding on for dear life. Saying this ain't protocol, this is strife. Green clouds in the air, Nip covers the scene. Tabby's wired, her eyes too keen. Axolotl's calm, keeping focus on the plan. But how do you win when the law's out of hand? Axolotl plays it straight, keeps the badge clean. Tabby's off the rails, a justice machine. Cheese on the streets, crime running muck. Two cops on the edge, taking fate by the luck. Two cops on the edge, taking fate by the luck.
Yeah, and there it is.
By nobody talking in chat, I assume it played right.
I could hear it.
Oh, yeah.
I could hear it.
Okay, good.
I mean, here it's like this is. I can just kind of talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, the first question: did we win?
I think so. We
Yeah.
got So we got the second place title sponsorship award from Civitai. So thank you, Civitai.
This is before I was hired on, so no conflict of interest before. I probably can't win that award again, but
so I think what I did was I actually looked up. I watched some YouTube videos. I was like, well, like how to edit rap video on YouTube, and I tried my best to put in some of the stuff that I saw on there. Like there's certain techniques where it's just like, okay, on this beat, like you see how this guy, he looks to edit his videos where it goes like half speed and then on the beat it speeds up and then it zooms in and stuff like that. That's like things like that, like just little, I guess I would call them, and I don't know if this is the correct term because I don't know, like tropes, I guess, like of like rap music videos. So I was trying to work that stuff in to figure out where it would work the best. And I put it all together and I would just export some of it and I'd be like, oh, how does this look? And KFT would give me pointers and say like, like this is what I think. And we got to the point where I was like, okay, I think I'm almost done, and I sent it, I think the whole thing to him, and he's watched it like so many times. So I'm super appreciative. Like I fully consider this like a collaborative work because I was, it would not be where it is now. Like it would not have been what it is if he didn't constantly give me feedback. And one of the things was he mentioned, he's like, oh, dude, you should put in some sound effects. I'm like, oh yeah, great. And then I just used 11 Labs and I was just like, oh, make me a bunch of gunshots. And I just put them all in. And this is one of the things that it's like a big lesson for me because I don't know how to do my video editing. So it's like a huge revelation to me, but probably not at all if you've done any video editing. But it's super jarring to have no sound effects and then for the first one to appear halfway through the video, which was the feedback I got from KFT. And I was like, wait, that makes complete sense. Like it's so obvious after he says it, but that wasn't obvious to me at all. So I just, I kept putting in more sound effects. And well, actually, let me back up for a second. Like there's that one shot I had a lot of fun editing for sure. Cause it was just, I thought it was really funny. And one of my favorite ones that I've always just, nobody's ever mentioned it, like without me bringing it up, is when he's stacking up the paperwork and then like on the beat, like I zoom in on the stack of paperwork. I thought that was really funny. Like I was particularly proud of that one. I show people and I'm like, did you like that part? And they're like, oh yeah, that was funny.
How it zooms in on the paper. Yeah.
Yeah. I was a huge fan of that one. So I went and I was just like trying to work in as much sound effects as I could in the beginning. And I sent it to KFT and I was just like, oh, what do you think now? And I think I accidentally exported a version that didn't have all the extra sound effects in the front because he's like, I don't know, dude. I don't know if this works. Like,
Nothing seemed to have changed.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm like, well, how can you think this? How can you fix this? I was just like, I added more sound effects, like he said. Like, I don't even understand. And I just like sat there. I'm like, you know what? I'm taking the creative control here. I'm saying I think it works with these sound effects. And it turns out that like, because after I wrote this, I talked about that, like the article we had up a second ago, and I think you commented, you're like, oh dude, like I didn't even notice all the sound effects in the beginning. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe it had to be me. Like I must have like sent you a version that was that did not have all those sound effects in the front. And then it got me all confused because I actually sat there and I just like thought about it for so long. And I was like, no, this totally works. This totally works. It's like all these sound effects are not like, they make sense and they're actually there. Unlike what KFT, and I think I just sent him one that was like, that didn't have any in the beginning. I mean, the most fun, I think, in terms of like syncing up all the stuff was that part where they're in the warehouse and they're just like shooting that stuff and it just kind of goes off. And I was just trying to work in things that I personally think that like Ali shooting the Glock and it has like a switch. It animated that way. And I was just like, yeah, that seems like a loose cannon cop thing to do. Like, just spray into a house with a Glock with a switch.
Yeah.
But I was really happy with how it like all turned out. And then a lot of people liked it too. So it was a lot of fun. And
Piece, as much as the first video or two were, a lot of work, it was also still fun, right?
well, this is the first thing where I felt like I really put something. I'm not like I don't. I didn't go to school for art. I never worked in any kind of media field. I was the most I ever got into art was I was like, oh, dude, I just want to make funny axolotl pictures, and like Microsoft's AI moderator is telling me that this is unsafe. I'm like, I don't like that. I want to be able to make whatever funny axolotl images I want, and then I would just like the beginning of my like Civitai. It's just only that's like all I did.
Yeah,
it's like,
including the banners still.
Beginning, yeah.
But
I only made like axolotl images and stuff. So I'm not like an artistic. Like I've never worked in media. I never made anything in this kind of sense before. So it was. And I would not have imagined that I would be able to do something like that. It's like even right before doing it. So it was really cool. Just I'm like, I feel like I can say like I was like I made that. It's like a whole music video. It's crazy, So
not only that, but now it's an award-winning music video.
Yeah. So I mean, like at the time, even just making it was a whole surreal kind of thing for me. And then I would show people like I knew. And it was just exciting. Like show people like, yeah, I made this, I had help. Luckily for me, I had help from a guy who actually knows what he's doing. So that
kind of,
yeah. But now I know what he told me. So now I can probably make it on my own. It's really cool. And one of the things for me, and this has always been true for everything I've done in terms of AI, is just like, well, I'm just only doing what I actually want to do, which is like kind of, it's consistent with the initially as well. Cause I didn't want it like this Project Odyssey thing to turn into something where I wasn't having fun doing it anymore. Cause I'm like, I'm not trying to, I just want to have fun with it. I just want to make funny and interesting things. And I'm a big fan of Project Odyssey because like before it, I would have never imagined I'd be able to do that on my own. And one of the things that later on I started doing, and one of the big messages I think I have is that if you think you can't do this stuff and that's what discouraged you from doing it, you should just give it a shot because you're capable of doing a lot more of this stuff than you might think. And I was part of I got invited to this one Discord and I was just posting the videos there. And I started posting ones, like this and then with the audio. And people were like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. I'm like, yeah, just put some audio over it. It makes the whole video better. And people started doing that with like short clips. And I'm like, dude, you can just totally make submissions. Like it just needs to be like a couple more videos with audio over it. You can totally do that. And I think I got a couple people that otherwise wouldn't have tried to realize it's like, yeah, it's totally possible. It's crazy how AI has made it so that somebody who like me, who doesn't work in this space or has no experience in it, does have the capability of making something that's a video with audio and everything like that. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, but that's one of my biggest takeaways that I wanted to get out there was if you're somebody who didn't like attempt it at all because you thought you couldn't do it, I think you can do it. And the thing is, you shouldn't feel bad about, you're like, oh, it's going to look bad. You should just make something that you want to make. And then it's just fun. That's what I did. And that's what I've always done with AI is I've only ever done things that were fun to me. Which is why like this is like literally the first competition I've ever participated in ever, because like I do work and then if I'm doing stuff like this, if it's a hobby, then it's just for fun. I'm not trying to I don't want to make it not fun, but it turns out you can have a lot of fun doing a competition as well, as long as you try to have fun while you're doing it,
Yeah. And I think it comes out in the videos too, like a lot of videos you can tell when somebody enjoyed making it versus, if somebody, I mean, obviously more in the corporate world where, you can tell a movie was made by a panel of executives that want to, deliver something got sold a lot or got watched a lot versus a movie you can tell somebody had some passion about and enjoyed making.
But yeah.
And with this stuff, it really lowers, it really lowers the barrier to entry. And I mean, this will be kind of the Civit plug part of it, but, it can be as easy as going into, there's some other stuff. Forgot now. testing a different model. But you can go in, safe for work anyway, still PG. But
there's worse things on Twitch. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, it still won't show, but it's easy enough. That was somebody's request there. But you can go into the create, you can generate images either through Flux or whatever, or go straight into text to video. Like you can make something, quickly. You make a couple of clips and see what works and what doesn't. If you get, like for us, going back to the Miro board, it was in pretty much that first day where we started looking at the images we made.
Yeah, they were just funny. I was just like, that was like, those are really.
It was
funny
a Hooters
images.
request. Yes, it was a Hooters request. But but we made the pictures and thought, okay, we'll try putting this into Halo, Minimax.
One day somebody will correct
Kling, whichever, and see how it comes out. And then once we started seeing some good videos come out, that's when we made the decision that, hey, we could actually do this.
Yeah, if you go through my Project Odyssey submissions, you'll see that like it's very clear that I've made things that I wanted to make, and I wasn't like I made it because I thought it was funny and I wanted to make it, and it's like that's the motivation. I think that's kind of the best way to approach this stuff, because some of the stuff I would, if I won with some of the other ones where I'm just clearly doing my own thing. I mean, that's cool. Like if you want to give me that prize, but I didn't expect to at all. But like I got an honorable mention on another one I had done, which is like the pocket axolotl. But I'll say this, like that's how I always approach this stuff, because even in the image contest and everything, like I made videos. I used it as a this Project Odyssey got me into just kind of wanting to exercise that kind of muscle, just trying to figure out how to make better videos. So, and I found that having some kind of like category really helps me do that. And I think it was the Valentine's Day, I made a bunch of videos, and each one I was just trying to think of like some way to fit in something I wanted to do within that category, and technically it being that category. So I didn't win anything because I was just actively trying to subvert the category. But I was just like, well, this is a general idea, and how do I make something that I actually want to make that can technically fit in it, And I just made a bunch of stuff that I thought like I wanted to make, and that's like those are my two big takeaways, is that you should give it a shot, and you should just do things that are fun to you, and only do things that like have value to you, even if that's all it is. It's like all you're doing is just making it. And
make it for yourself.
Make it for yourself. It's at the end of the day, like the metric I kind of did it by was I want to make something and I want to show my friends, and I want them to think it's funny or interesting. And that's, if I get that, like that, I've already, like, I'm pretty happy with that. So a lot of the stuff I made, I think as you go through it, if you do, like, you'll see that it's pretty reflective of that. But we have
Pocket Axolotl. That one
Pocket Axolotl got an honorable mention.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is one that I made when I kind of learned a little bit more about video editing.
When you're feeling blue and your day's a flop, there's a little friend that'll make you stop. Stop feeling sad, start feeling bright. Pocket Axolotl brings the light. It's got pink frilly gills and round black eyes, a goofy little smile that'll mesmerize. Slip it in your pocket, take it anywhere. Pocket Axolotl shows you it cares.
Pocket Axolotl at a freshwater pond near you.
So a lot of people like that one. I'm happy they did. I'll say this, like, I mean, this is kind of the thing I was speaking to earlier. Like, it makes complete sense why I only got an honorable mention, because I'm pretty sure the purpose of that was to try to like make a real advertisement, like as if it was real. That like clearly is not. I was just like, well, I guess I could advertise something that anybody would want that you can like isn't real at all. So, and that's something I think I want to make because I think that's kind of funny. And that's what I mean. So it's just like, I got an honorable mention because I guess they liked it so much, but it makes complete sense because I think I'm just kind of trying to shoehorn something that I think is fun while technically still fitting that one. And that's kind of how I approach a lot of this stuff, where I'm just, I'm like, I want to come up with a way to fit, like, I'm taking these different categories as kind of like directions that I like can go in, and how do I fit something that I want to make within them? And that made the whole process just fun from beginning to end for me.
And I think like from that as well, you know, AI is a really game-changing piece of it, because, you know, unless you had, you know, a 3D rendering system or a proper puppet or something for that axolotl, it would have taken a lot of work to make something like that happen. With AI, you know, you can generate the picture and go image to video from there and make it do something, you know, crazy. You know, there's a few videos I made that, you know, absolutely wouldn't have been able to do anything like that without AI or a huge budget.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
I'll
I'll bring up one of my commercials.
Yeah, go ahead.
The lowest one, just as a quick.
Yeah, we were going back and forth the whole time while we were making these, because I was like, "Oh, what do you think about this one?" You know, I'm like, "Oh, that's really." He showed me some stuff. I'm like, "Yeah, that's really funny." Like,
how many?
The whole
you ended
process
up making? Well, you made a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos, and I think I made 9. So yeah, we got into it. I made this commercial. I think it got top 50. I'll turn it down a bit.
Start your day with Cthulhu's, the cereal that summons.
Flavor, packed with eldritch horrors and oats.
The man who in his callousness can remain sane.
The only cereal that brings cosmic terror and crispy crunch.
You live on a placid island of ignorance.
Part of a balanced destruction of mankind.
Cthulhu's, available in Doom Chocolate and Apocalypse Berry.
Oh yeah.
And I assume there's some chat lag when he's saying "show Cthulhu's," because we just did.
Or maybe he wants to watch it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it's just like through that time, that I don't know, that 1 month period, you know, we're constantly bouncing back and forth with ideas like, "Hey, I want to do a commercial like this. What do you think?"
Bro, I was depressed when Project Odyssey was over.
It was sad when it was over. Like, we made so much, and I mean, that's why, I mean, for platforms like this, and I'm not just saying this because it's my employer now, but like through Civitai, I never expected in, you know, less than a year to be making connections and, you know, having so much fun with this stuff, and still having fun with it, and, you know, winning part of an award, which went back to more video stuff for us. So
yep, we got like the Topaz, so I can actually make videos in greater than 480p, you know. What was I gonna say as well? It was it was a lot of fun, man. I really like it, and I think I'll toss out a few things, just kind of tips, like things I learned from doing it. If you haven't done before, like things I would tell myself. I've been doing this for work forever. Is I like use ChatGPT to help me like teach me some things. Like, of course, you have to like validate in tasks, but one of the things, and it's kind of along this idea, when I first of all, I didn't know that you could download new fonts and then like use them. That's a brand new concept to me until KFT told me I could do that. What I did was like, I was like, well, I don't really like, let me get ChatGPT to help me. I was like, hey, can you, here's images of this video that I want to make. This is like the idea of it. Can you suggest like a font that would be good for like the title screen? This is the vibe I'm going for. It's illegal to download these fonts on dafont.com, by the way, you know. And it would actually look them up and suggest them. Like for this one, like just in the thumbnails, we talked about it, like the Wind's Malevolence, it's supposed to be some kind of Edgar Allan Poe, but in modern day. And it suggested one that I was like, oh, that's perfect. Like that font right there. It's called like Nevermore or something like that. And then I was like, well, but what? Like I have the text here and I can barely see it. And these are like the themes I'm going for. So can you suggest like the colors I should use? And it'd be like, okay, here's the hex codes for like the font you should use. And this could communicate this. And here's the stroke color that you should probably use. And I was just like, I didn't even know what a stroke was, but apparently it's outlines or something like that. I don't know. But using like, but if you don't
comment on what a stroke is.
Yeah.
It could be a few other things.
Yeah. It could be a few other things. I don't know. It's just like I'm just going with what ChatGPT told me to. And
as long as nobody here is having a stroke or having a stroke.
Yeah. Well, in the context of text, apparently it means like a thick outline or something like that.
Yeah.
there's going to be things that we don't have experience with if you're brand new to it. And maybe chat, like, I'm sure like some video editors just like, oh my God, I can't believe you picked hex code like 47 like EDG for that thing when it should have been like whatever. And they like can objectively prove to me why it's like wrong. Like, but without it, I'm just probably going to make something that's completely illegible. So utilizing like AI to help with your AI video is definitely something that I would suggest, because it can help bridge the gap for those things where it's better than having nothing, you know? It got me really interested in like video editing in general, because I started like just actually asking. I was like, when should I use these transitions? I'm like a huge fan of like cut to black right now. It's just like, this is when you should actually use it. I'm like, okay, so I shouldn't just like slam it in everywhere. It's just like, you should use a cross dissolve when this, you know, like this is what it communicates. I'm like, oh, that seems to make sense. And that kind of general guidance, I think, helps a lot for somebody who has never really done this before. So I think that's one of the things that I would really recommend if you're never done this kind of thing before and you're interested in giving it a shot, which I think you should the next time this comes around, because it is a lot of fun.
And there's no big barrier to entry either. There's, you know, I assume there's not going to be an entry fee to the next one. When you sign up for it, you get access to a bunch of different tools, which we abused. Like, we tested whatever, you know, we tried 11 Labs voices, we tried other voices, we tried, you know, as far as video generation, we picked a couple of different services and tried them out. Like, it's great for that. You can do it for free, don't pay any money, or, you know, sign up for the site and then, you know, set a reminder to cancel in 29 days.
It is legal. It is legal to do that.
It's legal to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sharing knowledge can be a good thing. And, you know, like we've both written articles following Project Odyssey of, you know, how we did it or what we made, because, you know, it's good practice sharing it out. And, you know, the AI stuff helping out, you know, it's helped me. I've been using Claude lately to help me out with comfy UI workflows. Like, it's great. It's not perfect. You can't trust it entirely, but it can help point you in the right direction. Like the same with Schmede, you know, it can help say, hey, I need to make this kind of dark and scary. What color settings should I go for?
Yeah. Oh, the one thing I actually need to learn is how to color correct. Like,
yeah, that's a whole, yeah. I'm sure using the LUTs that I use would make a lot of actual video makers mad, but
yeah, I think I've tuned into one of those Project Odyssey streams, and they're talking about it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, you just got to make sure I'm just like, oh my God. And I tried it for like 2 seconds. I'm like, oh my God, I'm afraid I can't get it to look right again. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I think that's something I should really look into and actually in earnest try to understand and be able to do. And I think it will help a lot, because I think it's one of those things. I feel like this is a safe assumption. Like, once you actually properly color correct something, you can never unsee how bad it was before. But if you're completely clueless like me, like, you just like have no idea. So actually controls this, I don't even think it's actually Control Z, is it? And well, actually, I don't know with the different video editing programs, but it would just get worse when I tried to color correct it. And I'm like, I should probably actually figure out how to do this instead of trying to wing it, you know?
Yeah. So we've got about 5 minutes left, but I think it'd be good to go into Q&A. I think we got a lot we can keep talking about. So
Yeah,
we definitely have to
definitely.
do more. But, you know, as far as free tools for video editing on that side, you know, I think we both recommend DaVinci. If your employer is willing to pay for it, Premiere Pro is great. If you have to pay for it, you know, DaVinci Resolve has a really good free version for editing. It's pretty powerful, but pretty easy to get into as well. You know,
I think
follow both of us, check out our articles. We've got some stuff. Feel free to put questions in chat and go ahead.
Oh yeah. So I think towards the end, you were just exclusively using like the free version of it, DaVinci Resolve, weren't you?
Yeah.
So
we only got the paid version when we won.
Yeah, that's what it was.
The prize.
I went to that, and then I also got like Topaz, like, yeah. So then I can like upscale this stuff. So yeah, it's way. I really encourage people who only didn't do it because they thought they couldn't do it to just give it a shot, because I think you got, like, if you're somebody who thinks that, like, I think you can do it. And yeah, it's just a great experience, you know?
And Schmede believes in you. So.
I believe in you. Play with brightness slider on your monitor. Okay.
Yeah, there's also the side of like if you have an HDR monitor versus non-HDR, like everything.
Oh yeah, I heard you have to like also account it just maybe your monitor's not showing color. I mean, I'm not going to get into it. It sounds like a really deep subject that I know absolutely nothing about.
Biggest barrier to entry being time required to either learn or make or both, and
I think that it's even. I think that's even shorter than you might imagine because, like, for me, I could be like, yeah, I could probably learn it if I had enough time. Like, but I was able to make videos that I was happy with from my starting point, which was I knew how to use this, like that there was a function for subtitles and I could put one clip after another and that was it.
And you do have a level of focus that I think a lot of people might not have, but your first video that you decided to make was that music video, which didn't have easy or simple transitions at all. But you know, if you wanted to make something 30 seconds long with simple transitions, probably wouldn't take too long to get set up in, you know, DaVinci Resolve or Premiere. Or you can use Microsoft Clipchamp, or does iMovie still exist? I don't know what that is anymore.
Listen, there's categories for that. Like you can do it's completely fine. Like, there's categories catered to short form video. So
yeah, enter with your 5-second light tricks video.
I think a lot of people did that. So the thing is, if you are afraid that like if your 5-second video is not up to the competition, like there's plenty of people I think that literally did that. You put in some audio and you're already going places, you know? So I just really encourage people to get into it. I think
nobody's stopping you from brainstorming or learning some skills before the next contest.
Yes,
so
but you're not allowed
contest.
I was gonna say you're not allowed to think about doing anything for the next one yet because that's illegal. You can't start working on it until it starts, so you can't even ideate. That's probably not true. But
no, but I mean that's the joke we've run by of you know. Because all the clips and videos you make have to be during the duration of the contest. But absolutely, there's no reason, you know, to not, like, if you have an idea for a video, start writing it out, start drawing it out. Like, put it on paper, put it on whatever format, put it in your notes app. Like, that's pretty much how a lot of these videos we made got started. Yep. You know, we just have an idea and start generating clips and think, okay, we can do something with that.
Guys, what we did was we just took our favorite pictures and we threw them into image to video generator and we didn't even caption it. And then we were just like, dude, these videos are awesome. How do we just like string them together into something that works? Like, that's what we did. So if you don't even have to really think too hard, that's what we played around the best content we had. And like, that also works.
And we got a lot of bad stuff, like stuff that didn't make the music video either.
I wouldn't say bad, but unusable.
Glitch.
It'd be unusable.
Yeah.
I think we're almost at time. So is it cool if I do like a shout out for what I wanted to do?
Sure. Let me load up your article.
Well, actually,
we had a link in there, didn't there?
I'm trying to shout my friend. My friend.
Yeah, you can do that while I put up the article, which has a link to your friend. Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy. I didn't even think I'd get like this many followers.
This is a great picture. You can actually see the full context of what's behind me right now.
Yeah, he's the guy who comes in and just like hooterizes all my models and just leaves and doesn't say anything. Like that was like.
I never did it to an axolotl though. But
not yet, anyways. But I'm just trying to shout out my friend. He actually helped. He was part of one of my submissions, which was the Wind's Malevolence, which is like a crazy looking one, but. I'm really trying to get him into participating in the next Project Odyssey for sure, and then also get his work more attention. One of the things that we've been exploring a lot is Sora, and we've just been making a lot of images, and that's what we're in. Project Odyssey has made it so that everything I kind of do now is centered around, okay, can this make consistent and good looking images for a video? So like we've been experimenting a lot, and what we've been doing as well is we've just been including all of our prompts in this collection as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, that's kind of what I'm doing right now, and I'm working like collaboratively with him. And I just want to shout out my friend because I think I would just want to get more attention on the stuff he makes because I think it's cool, and that's basically it.
So yeah, make sure to give Sweetie Honks a follow.
And
if he's watching this, you got your shout out. You should be happy. If anybody following the stream, or if you watch this on VOD, video on demand, I've got this article and I'll put it in chat as well. Feel free to drop any comments of like, hey, we like this, or hey, I didn't like this. Hey, you should go more into this. Feel free to comment it in here. I get those. I'll check through them. This is a community creative stream, and I want to build it based off, what you want to see. And, if you found this, be a cool stream and learn something, or maybe you're thinking, hey, maybe I can do video, which we know you can, because there's one guy that we both know in our group that, he was very hesitant about getting into video stuff because he's deaf. And so he wasn't sure about the audio side of it. And, we told him you don't really need to do it with audio. You can just have a backtrack. And, I think he ended up making 3 or 4 videos for Project Odyssey. And they're pretty good, too.
With good audio as well, I'll say.
Yeah.
And, it's a whole story. Yeah. I mean, it was just meticulous work, watching the waveforms, I believe. So listen, you can do it. And
we believe in you.
Yeah, you can do it.
And feel free to follow us on Civitai. We've linked our profiles there. If you have any comments about the stream, feel free to reach out to me. Schmede, awesome having you on here. This hour went by really fast.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me on.
We had a lot of, we've made some good videos, and, we're both looking forward to Project Odyssey Season 3, especially as video generation keeps coming along. I know Civit, on the internal side, I know we're working on, putting in WAN video and Hanyan video onto the generator, and I'm absolutely pushing them to make that happen quicker, because I want to see it. Because that, once we get more open source and kind of, Kling is great, but it's quite limited, and as opposed to some of the open source models, but they're not quite there yet. But I think the next month or two, we're going to see that change. Of course, Kling's going to get better too.
I use all of them whenever I can,
Yeah, whichever one I've got credits for.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Well, thanks again for joining me, and we'll chat again soon. I'm sure we'll have a follow-up stream, and we'll see what people want to see.
All right, thanks.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Have a great weekend, everybody.